Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning was my most anticipated movie, not only for this year, but just in general. I absolutely love this franchise, and particularly the previous one, which came out in 2023. There were some great movies that year: Iron Claw, Godzilla Minus One, Across the Spider-Verse, but for me personally, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning was the best movie of 2023. Although Across the Spider-Verse has since become my favorite, but my point still remains. So I had high expectations for this film, and I'm happy to say that they were met. So the main antagonist of this movie is an insanely intelligent AI, which is slowly taking control of every technology in the world, including nuclear bombs in every major country. It's fucking scary to think about, especially when that power is put into the wrong hands, which is where Gabriel comes in. He believes he can control this AI, which was established in the previous film, and so it's so much fun watching Ethan and Gabriel battle for the entire movie. The fate of the entire fucking world is under threat, so the tension is astronomically high for the whole movie. You know when you watch an intense scene and your entire body goes stiff and you almost want to look away the whole time? Yeah, well that was me for most of the movie. Not only because the tension's possibly the highest it's ever been in the franchise, but because the action is so damn good. There's some amazing fight choreography, incredible stunts, inventive ways to escape certain situations, and I care about most of the characters, so I'm incredibly invested. One thing this movie does extremely well is cut between multiple fights happening at once. They all have to coordinate at a specific time to pass the mission, and so to watch them all nearly be fucked over in different locations is so nerve-wracking and very well done. Most people agree that the plane sequence is the best part, and that's definitely a good shout. I don't want to give anything away, so I'm gonna just say that it was incredibly fun and thrilling to watch. However, I thoroughly enjoyed and preferred the submarine sequence, which isn't so much about the action, but it has the audience wondering how he'll get out of this situation. Although that sequence did leave a bad taste in my mouth along with a few other action scenes, and that is because of the plot armor. Okay, let's be honest, most of the shit that happens in this franchise is extremely unbelievable and just wouldn't happen in real life. Just like the newer Fast and Furious movies. But they go way overboard, to the point where you just go numb because of how unrealistic it is. However, this franchise makes it just believable enough for the audience to still enjoy it. It's not completely over the top, so the characters could theoretically pull off their stunts. Yeah, no, this movie doesn't do that very well. Several characters probably should have died several times, and it kind of brought me out of the experience a little bit. However, what brought me back into the film was that not only is Ethan and his squad chasing Gabriel the whole time, but the government and IMF doesn't really trust him either. This has been the case with most of the movies, but this film makes it more impactful than the other ones, since he has to complete the mission before the president takes matters into her own hands. Some of the decisions that the president has to make are really tough, and they even give her a little bit of character depth, which highlights the messages and themes this movie's trying to say. It makes the movie more memorable. And on top of those scenes, the movie also shows the potential problems AI could cause to the world, and so because of that, I think the movie will age very well. Another thing this movie does pretty well are the characters. This movie isn't afraid to kill off characters, and some of them who were introduced in the last film got really cool and satisfying arcs. Grace is one of my favorite characters in the franchise now, and even though she was better in Dead Reckoning, she was still really good in this film. And then Paris is so much better in this movie. Even though the main attraction of this movie is the action and super high tension, it is really important for the audience to care about these characters, which just makes it more emotionally impactful. And I think they did a pretty good job, especially because one of my friends started tearing up a little bit. Also, there were some minor things that I didn't really enjoy that much. The opening 5 to 10 minutes of this movie is unnecessarily really boring. It was literally just a recap of what happened in the previous movie, and they either could have cut that out completely or just made it a lot snappier. And also, there's this really bizarre cut at the end of the movie, which was supposed to make the audience question if something happened, but instead it made everyone wonder how it happened. If you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. But by far the most annoying and dumb thing that happens in this movie is this scene where Ethan jumps into the ocean. I'm sorry, but the plot convenience that happens after that scene is laughably bad. But overall, I'm willing to overlook those small details. They're more nitpicks than actual criticisms toward the characters or story, and so I'm extremely happy with this movie. If you love the Mission Impossible franchise like I do, you're gonna love this movie. If you're unfamiliar with this franchise, you should definitely watch Dead Reckoning and then watch this one. I brought along 3 friends to the cinema with me who aren't really big fans of the franchise, but they still really enjoyed it. Oh, and please let this franchise end. Even though this movie is called Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, it isn't confirmed to be the last one. Personally, I want the franchise to end right here. I feel very satisfied with how everything played out. Possibly a spin-off movie starring someone like Grace, who's simply excellent in this movie and the last one, but I don't want to see any more Ethan Hunt. This movie's not perfect. Objectively, it's maybe like an 8 out of 10. Most people will agree that Sinners and Mickey 17 are better made films, and I definitely get that perspective. But in terms of my enjoyment, the satisfaction I felt at the end of the film, and my connection to this franchise, I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10, and it's my favorite movie of the year so far. Thank you guys for watching. Honestly, after watching this movie, I now have this franchise comfortably in my top 3 favorite movie franchises ever. Don't get me wrong, I love a franchise with great storytelling, characters, and plot twists. But in terms of how much enjoyment I get watching films, Mission Impossible is right up there. Let me know your thoughts of the movie in the comments below. I suspect not many people rate it as high as I do, but I'd still love to know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!